All right. Hello. We are live. What's up, everybody? My name is Anthony Campolo. I'm coming at you from 4 different places right now. I'm coming from my Twitch, YouTube, and Dash's Twitch and YouTube. So if people saw me on Monday, I was on the Dash channel with Ryan and Amanda, and we were talking about what I'm going to be kind of doing for the Dash Incubator, and it's going to be building out some cool JavaScript stuff. It's going to be fairly kind of like off the cuff coding stuff. And real quick, I'm just going to make sure I'm actually coming in good. Yep, I can hear myself there. Great. All right. And I'm just going to have to make sure position this so that I can see the comments. It's the only thing. So let me go ahead and, let's see if I can screen share. Boom, boom. Sweet. Okay. Hello, learner. What is up? You're the first guest on this fun new stream we'll be doing. Okay, that's probably pretty good. So, great. I was actually playing around a bit with the Dash docs and trying to get a feel for, how they work and kind of what state they're in, especially in terms of the JavaScript SDK. So this is something that is always a challenge with JavaScript. You will frequently have different versions of Node, different versions of require versus import, and a lot of confusion there. You also now have this problem with fetch, where you may be using an older fetch library. Like one of the examples in here is using request, which is something that I didn't really even know about. It's a deprecated fetch library that was not node fetch. So node fetch is like, I don't know if we would consider it deprecated or not, but it's something that people are now moving off of because fetch is just in node now. But I want to get to, these are not the docs I wanted. I have a couple different docs. I want the dash.org docs and developer portal. Okay, because here's where they give you a lot of the stuff I'll actually be doing. There's a couple things in here also that did not work. So a couple things that I kind of wanted to do. Eventually the point is going to be getting to actually building like React apps and stuff like that. But before you can even do that, you want your JavaScript general stuff to work. So I usually go in a couple steps here. I start by just trying to get something to work with just like a curl command. Let me just open up what we got here. It's all nice and big. Okay. Great. Okay, so for example, there's one curl command that I had for here we go. This is all on. Okay, so I like starting off like something here where you can just run a curl command and get a response back. This is like the simplest, most basic way to interact with an endpoint or an API, right? You hit a URL, yes, either get it or you post it usually. And an example like this, so this is a blockchain. How much you know about blockchain or not is going to depend on whether you're someone who is coming at this from the Dash channel or the AJC channel, because most of my followers and friends and people who tend to watch my content are less blockchain oriented, even though I spent close to a year working at a blockchain company. But I actually really enjoyed it. I ended up getting out of blockchain just because I got an opportunity at this company, Edgio. I wanted to do that instead. But I actually think the technology has a lot of promise, even though people think it's kind of quote unquote over thanks to the whole blow up last year. But these things, they go in cycles. Like we had ups and downs in the past, and each time it came back up again, even higher than the time before it. So if history repeats itself, we will be here again in 2024, 25, 26. Hard to say. But with this example here, so it's a curl command. We're sending a post. We're sending a post to this endpoint. The test nets are a little interesting. I was having issues with them at first that ChatGPT helped me figure out, because some sort of TLS SSL encryption thing that was throwing errors. If we find that in examples as we go, I'll kind of point it out. And then you set the header to JSON, and this is a JSON RPC, which is the way that a lot of developers interact with these blockchains. You have just like data that you post to an endpoint, and then you specify a method, and then there's like the specific JSON RPC API, if there's a version, then you set the version, and then if there's any parameters. So in this one, this is get best block hash. I'm not sure. Let's see what the ID differentials in the same endpoint. Yeah, so I'm a little confused what the ID is for. But for, let's see, so yeah, so for this one, get block hash, you set a parameter, and so this is like, what is the block hash you actually want to get back. Yeah, and so with any of these things, you have catch up to in about 15 minutes. All right, cool. We haven't missed much so far, right? But once you catch up to me, I will have some questions for you. And if you wanted to hop on, actually, feel free to join, and then just hit me up in the comments so I know, and I can just add you to the stream. So what I was going to do is, anytime I kind of want to figure out how to work with an endpoint and get to the state where I can actually like do stuff with it in a JavaScript project, I start with a curl command like this. And now with Dash, there is a Dash JavaScript library, and these client libraries are usually useful because they allow you to not have to worry about just making a straight up fetch request yourself. They'll kind of give you something nicer and more integrated to do it. Hey, what's up, Nikki T? I'll be curious if you find any of this stuff interesting, as I know you're not a very big blockchain developer, but I also know you're open-minded and like to learn. So that is a good thing. But so I was saying, we usually have the ability to bring in some sort of JavaScript library like so. You bring in Dash, and then you initialize a Dash client, and then you will just have like methods on it. And when I was doing this, I hit a couple weird things. First off, it's not entirely clear what version you should be on, because if you go to so that's first off, that's not good. So is that just GitHub being down? So if you go to the I want to go to the GitHub for it. There is a GitHub for it somewhere. GitHub Dash SDK. It was deprecated. I think it's okay. Okay, so this is not it at all. Here we go. This is what I want. Okay. So this is the Dash Hive. This is Ryan. So this is where you can actually get the SDK. That's not it, actually. There's a link in the docs here. No, that's not it. This is the link. There we go. Okay, here we go. This is what I want. So let me start grabbing links, make sure I save these places. Okay. So SDK. Sweet. Okay, this is great. This is actually, I think, what I wasn't able to find yesterday, or not that I wasn't able to find it, but so there's this huge problem with general blockchain projects, which is that they're very decentralized. It's like part of the whole point, but sometimes you end up with a lot of different documentation and GitHub repos and GitHub organizations. And so like this is Dash Pay. So that's different from Dash Hive when we were looking at them before. And then with the docs, like I was saying, you have these docs here. We also had there's like a different kind of docs here, docs.dash.org. And actually, Dan Jatan did a stream on this already, docs roasting. So this is him kind of talking more structurally about the docs. And I imagine he gave a lot of that feedback about making sure it's clear where you need to go to find things and then where said things are that you need to find. So as I was going through this last night, I was just trying out different examples and looking at different repos, and it wasn't always clear what was actually supported and official. And so these GitHub READMEs right here that go along with the code you're actually installing on npm, that's what's really important. You want to make sure it's at least syncing up there, or else you're going to end up a lot of weirdness happening. Because there's also, I can tell if it was supposed to be Dash or Dash JS. I think that's because I was looking at one of the wrong packages before, but this is definitely the right stuff now. Okay, cool. So with this, you have Dash client methods, but what I had also done, I think I want to, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to move this. This is my usual setup. Boom. Boom. Except this is, yeah, usually this is on the other side of the screen. That's why it's throwing me off. There we go. Okay. Now we're good. Okay, so there's straight up curl request. Then there's using a client library. But if the client library ever doesn't work, it's good to be able to just make a straight up fetch request and know how to do that. So I have some examples that I'll write out that are like this, where you just have a JavaScript function that runs a fetch method, feeds it the endpoint, and then sets all of the body stuff just straight up in JSON here. And then you can console log the results. So that's kind of like the different ways you can start working with the endpoint and figure out how do you interact with it. And since it's all just through this JSON RPC, it's all pretty much the same. You have an endpoint that you're posting to, and you're hitting it with some stuff. So let's take a look at. So I wanted to just basically go through a whole bunch of the examples that are in the docs and see where they break and make some notes. And then that'll be useful for any other people who happen to end up on these docs and may not know what's happening. There's also some places where it will probably make sense to just rewrite the example entirely, especially the ones that are using requests. It's like clearly deprecated library. So that's not something that should probably be in use. So this is what I'm talking about, this example right here. So this is using request. So npm request simplified HTTP request. So boom, right at the top. This package has been deprecated, published 3 years ago as of February 11, 2020, before even my boot camp a long time ago. So don't really want super old deprecated libraries in your docs for obvious reasons. But thankfully, I will be able to rewrite it with a slightly less deprecated library, because node fetch, not necessarily deprecated. In fact, it's not deprecated at all. It's the update in the last 2 months. But version 2 docs are the ones that actually work, and version 2 is what actually works with ESM. So that's another thing. If you look at these examples, they're all written with require versus imports. And so this is where, again, you find these old examples. Things can be really confusing because you may have some things in require, but you need to come to ESM, especially if the goal is to eventually get this into something that's going to work in a React component, because React tends to be using ESM at this point. Although you can probably do require with React. I don't see why not. But you'd be way out of step with like the current versions of React. How everyone writes React, everyone's going to be using ESM in any current React example you see. So the places I wanted to hit. So this is the very, very first example for JavaScript. Connect to Dash Platform. So let me close that guy. Okay, so this is the curl request for this, I think. Hold on, no, that's back here. Okay, here is. Oh, not sure what happened there. Okay. Anyway, let's just do this. So. Okay, there we go. Dash connect. So let me grab this. So what I always do when I'm doing this kind of stuff is, and this is gonna be one of the things with these streams, is this will be more so me kind of working through just like how I actually do this, and less me like building something before the stream and then presenting it to people, which is what I do for a lot of my streams. Usually, this is giving more so me like how do I go through docs and try examples and troubleshoot them, and then potentially upstream changes if I think things are broken or unclear. And then as I'm doing that, I'm basically writing docs as I'm doing it, both for myself, so I can kind of make sense of what's actually happening as I'm doing it, and it's more easy to give that feedback. Or if I actually want it to end up as like a blog post, or if I'm trying to just build a new example, I'll still go through this project. And so essentially everything I ever build ends up having like a tutorial attached to it, just because it's how I kind of think through this stuff. It helps me concretize every single step. So yeah. And then he's gonna have an outline. So let me just take what I've got right now already, and we'll run through kind of each example. So let's just have some resources. Usually resources will go at the end, but for safety, I'll keep at the top for now. Okay, that was the outline. Sources, create project, connect to Dash Platform, get best block hash. That should go above any of the JavaScript stuff. So basically the structure of what's happening right now is I'll always start by building a project from scratch, and even like showing like how do you actually even get a package.json and the dependencies into your project. Because you'll notice here, this example just says npm install dash. Like, great, npm install dash into what? So I think that this is a step that sometimes are left out, but it's kind of really important, especially if you're dealing with stuff like this. If you're dealing with whether it's going to be require or import, you need to know, do you need to set type to module and all this stuff that goes along with that. So since I think the goal should always be to end up at ESM, because eventually in 20 years or right before the heat death of the universe, they will probably stop using require. And it's just better to be on ESM, because then it'll be easier to integrate with newer tools like Vite. And right now, I think this tells you to use Node 12. You should not be using Node 12 if you're someone writing Node still. I think that's considered off of long-term support by now, which means you don't really have a lot of good guarantees around a lot of stuff. I mean, I think they'll still fix security vulnerabilities, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, security issue. So you want stuff to be on the newer versions of Node if you ever can. I think I'll be running Node 16 right now. Yeah, because Node 18 might have some breaking stuff. But if you notice, so I like to actually include all the steps. So let's do this. So want to keep this around. Get rid of that. And then I'll run through these commands. So directory into it, I'll be using pnpm for this. Nikki T, since you are still around and watching, I'm curious, have you ever written any code at all related to any of this blockchain Web3 type stuff, or even had a sense of how you would interact with it through JSON RPC methods and stuff like that? Because this is something that I did not know at all, even though I've been following crypto for many years. It wasn't until I started working for QuickNode that I really learned how to actually interact with a blockchain and what is, the blockchain is currently running in production, how they work. Because QuickNode, actually pretty cool. Don't do that, Google. Pretty cool company that hosts blockchain nodes for you. So if you wanted to interact with Ethereum, you can see how to do that through all of their methods here. And their documentation is actually really fantastic. So if you go to this one, you'll see they have similar type deal where got a curl request here that is sending some data. And you can also see they have JavaScript examples as well. Cool. And so what was I saying? Doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, so npm init, and then add dash. Let's pull this back over now. Okay, let me clean up some tabs real quick. That's good. That's good. Tutorials. Okay. Okay, so here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the README. Oh, whoops, this should be outside of here. Oh, I can have just one thing open. I'm just gonna do this from the terminal here. And if we look here, I have my npm pnpm auto configured to do this. When most people run this command, it will not do this. And that can be an issue if you want to use imports. And so this can be changed to type common JS. And yeah, so that's where some of the challenges come into play. You have to kind of just play around and see whether you need to have the type module set or not. And especially once you get into tools like Vite in the front end, then things are also a little bit different. But now we want to pnpm add dash. So you see here, just dash, Node.js. And then if we look at this example and try and run it, I've got it written right here, I think. It's the same one. Yep. Okay, so also then let's actually create the files as well, because I think that's useful. Does this, can't remember if this works or not. Ryan, have you caught up yet? If so, let me know. So I think this ends up just hanging for a while. That'll be the ESM. But for now, let's take these off. Let's try and run this. So I think if I remember correctly, we're gonna get an error. Oh wait, it worked. Huh. Sweet. All right, that's good. Cool. So if we see here, we got this came out. So that's doing this part. And then new line. Okay, so let's try this then. So still work. Great. See, there you go. So that's all you got to do to switch between require and ESM. You add type module to your package.json, and then you import blank from blank. Whatever this was becomes that. Whatever this was becomes that. And there you go. If only it were that simple all the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Here. Okay, and then what it tells you to do next is you can connect to DevNet, and you can connect via address or via seed. Yeah, I'm not sure this is really super duper relevant. Okay, this is what I was trying to do before. This is connect directly to Gappy. Okay, so I'm gonna not worry about that one. There was that other curl command I had before. I think that was it. This is a good one though, so I want to save this one. So that's basically get best block hash. That's what we were doing in this example here. Get best block hash. What does that mean, best block hash? Check the API Dash. So yeah, so this one. I think this is the page I'm going to end up on a lot, I think. Okay, so get best block hash returns the block hash of the chain tip ID or chain tip. That would be ID twice. So let's do this. Let's close that for now. And since this has no parameters, it's fairly straightforward in terms of how you interact with it. You're not going to be like passing anything into it. You just literally run that method, and then it's going to give you back the block hash of the chain tip. Let's see if they define chain tip anywhere. That would probably be in the Dash core docs. I mean, I would guess that's just like the current block, like whatever the latest block is right now. Because if you don't know the blockchain, you have blocks in a chain. Whoa. And you add a block every some amount of time. And every time you do that, it has all the transactions from the last, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, some amount of time. So I'm just going to assume that's what it means until someone tells me otherwise. Okay, so I had the curl example, which was this, and that's this. I'm going to do this by method to some. Yeah, for now, I'm going to ignore these different ways to connect. This is not super important right now, I don't think. Okay, cool. Let's see. Yeah, so this will have get block hash, get best block hash, get block by height. So those are more of the other client methods. Okay, cool. So let's just keep going from where I am right now. And let's delete this. Keep that. Okay. Cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically building up different files that will have self-contained node scripts, and then that can be run from the command line. So the idea being that you build up from first you have a curl command, and so that curl command, like literally anyone could just copy paste this sucker and run it in their terminal and should get a response back, which I should have the output right after it. So grab that. And that this way, as you're going from the different steps, people can kind of make sure that everything's working. So in this kind of like baseline case, you're just like, all right, am I able to even hit the endpoint and get something back? Because then as soon as you introduce JavaScript stuff and you're already in the realm of, okay, well, did they get their pirates.json right? Was their version of Node on their own individual machine? And so that's the stuff that then you need to kind of work through step by step. So grab all of these. Actually, no, those are fine where they are. Okay. And so I already have this example, and that's already working. Good. Okay, so this is what this should have been called, actually. Okay, good. And then for now, we'll call the other one just fetch. let's do that one now. And so I'm pretty sure this has been the case for a while. So I think it's still the case that you need to specify you want version 2 of node fetch, or else you get weird ESM issues. And now if we take this stuff here, 1, 2, and then the thing that I had to ask ChatGPT to help me with was, let me show you this. Let's see if this will still happen. If we don't have that and we just try running this, see what happens. Okay. For some reason, there was something weird happening with the endpoint yesterday, and there's all these like TLS stuff. It may just because maybe there's a certificate that was out of date that was updated this morning, and so now everything's fixed. Who knows? That is nice though, because that's a lot of extra stuff, and I had to like bring in an HTTPS library. So yeah, I'm curious if that was an actual error or not. But anyway, so if we look at the output we were getting in this example, it is running this method, and it just gives you the result. Whereas in this fetch example, we're getting back something more similar to what we got back from the curl command. It's just giving us back the JSON object. So if we wanted to modify that, I think we would want to do this. Destructure that. Oh, no, that's it. Yeah. So if we do that, then we'll just get the straight up result part of the object instead of the whole thing. Nice. Okay. And for now, I'm going to leave that stuff in there, but uncommented, just in case that error comes up again. But if we see right here now, this is using node fetch instead of request. So Ryan, I would recommend changing that. So I can open a pull request to make some adjustments to the docs. I also would really recommend having steps of actually creating a project from scratch, and then npm initting, and maybe address the issue of require versus import. If you want to upgrade to using ESM, you'd want to do it kind of all at once. You wouldn't want some of the docs to be in ESM, some to be in node require syntax, because that could be a huge issue. So that's why I get why a lot of people will still have docs now that are still using require, just because everything's using require. They have to rewrite their entire docs to get ESM in there. But ideally, we could get there. But I would say first, update it to the more pressing concern is the deprecated require library that is being used, the deprecated request library, require request. So this is the thing you'd want to change first. So I would probably open a PR, but not use ESM node fetch, but still use node fetch, and then update the example. Because because this is like this stuff right here. I'm like, this is where I get all confused, because you have response and body, and it's like, this is all the fetch code. I always see it looks like this now. But obviously, there's a million ways to do fetch. Nikki T knows all about that. He knows back when it was called Ajax. Okay, so this is pretty much all working pretty well right now. So I can take these off. Yeah, comma adds a space automatically. But I think I do want to actually. That's all good, Ryan. I've done the same. So let's do. Simplify it. Yeah, yeah. I agree. It's always good to just put on a stream. We'll see. Yeah, because I want to have. So if we open a PR, it's better if I can update a lot of examples all at once. All right, so we got get best block hash, and then get block hash. So let's do that now. See what I have here. Methods. So for this one, there actually isn't a JavaScript example at all. So that's interesting. That would be even more useful for you if I wrote you examples you didn't even have. Did it work even though? Hold on, why is it yelling at me right now? For some reason the colors are off, but looked like it actually worked. So yeah. So this is doing block hash for the given height. Got it, man. Thanks for hanging around, Nikki. Hash for the given height. So what is the height? The block height. Only adjustment block height, number of blocks between them and the first dash block. Okay, so it's how far away is the block from the first dash block. Okay, that makes sense. So it's just counting up as the each block. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, this is part of the thing with like blockchains all have their own names for all this stuff. So this was get block hash. And this I want to have a example. And now I can just kind of take most of what I have before and just change the data in the body. So let's do hash. Change this part. So it's going to be, that is going to be params. So this is where it could be interesting. Oh yeah, sorry, Nikki T's got his own stream. So we have params, and then in there we're going to have another object. This is where sometimes plot. I think that should be it. Let's get rid of that for now. Let's see what happens. Oh wait, duh, I gotta actually put it in the file. Why does it get best ball? Okay, that's it's on. Not surprised. So I messed something up here, and this is where ChatGPT can come in handy. It helps me fix my junior JavaScript mistakes. All right, so have this code. Getting an error. Error. And that takes a second to answer. And I already know basically what the issue is. I just want to shortcut straight to the answer. Let's close some of this stuff. So, same. Testnet. Here. Okay, so sweet. So it's gonna just throw in JSON.stringify for me. Nice. I checked to make sure HTTP loss has. Okay. As soon as you can give me a try catch, it's incredible. Okay, and the server is definitely returning a JSON response. So cool. This is the future. Oh my god. And this is why I keep saying, like, some developers don't really see how ChatGPT can be useful to them, which I would first say you need to think a little more creatively about it. But for junior devs or even people who are kind of like in the middle, I guess, like me, who just want to fix basic errors that they should know how to fix, but maybe either don't like quite have like some syntax on hand, or there's like something that they would have to then Google to look up to find out fixing like one kind of small bug that like through experience you'll be able to very easily do. Just ChatGPT can just give you the answer, which is really incredible. So I should actually take that last example and do the same thing. Have it give me nice try catch and all that. So this was here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, actually, wait, it's still giving me an error. Must be an integer. Okay, that one I can fix on my own. Yes. So that was because we had quotes around the one in height, which was parsing it into a string. Cool. And then this. Okay, cool. So these are the examples that I'll be able to add to the docs, because you don't have a JavaScript example at all here. So let's see, how many are there on this page? You got 1, 2, 3. There are no recently deprecated. Cool. Okay, so that can't be all the RPC methods, can it be? So this is gRPC, which I sure don't know nothing about, and will not mess around with at all, probably. I just feel like there should be way more methods. Yeah, because here we have like get block, get transaction, stuff like that. So maybe it is. There's more methods. This just isn't like, this is detail implement reference. So here we go. This is all I think. Nope, that's just JSON RPC. Okay, well, either way, there's 3 examples on here. So this one I would recommend. I'll update that one, and then I'll add JavaScript examples here and here. So let's go to the next one. So we already got get block hash. Yep. So get master node. Gotta change that name. List diff for the provided block hashes. Cool. So let me make sure my README is in sync with all my files. Okay, cool. Okay. So there we go. If this curl works. Looks like it did. Yeah. Cool. That's a big response. Let's see what's going on here. So this is the result. Let's do this word wrap. Most all of our RPC endpoints from JSON. Interesting. Okay, so what's going to happen with the JavaScript client libraries and stuff? Is that going to just be like an internal implementation change? Ultimately, it's not going to matter a whole lot for what I'm doing, since it's eventually going to end up in React. This is just me trying to understand how the endpoint works in a way that makes sense to me. And I wouldn't know how to just mess around with gRPC. But if I have to learn gRPC, then you can pay me to learn gRPC, I suppose. It's like, you pay me for building this stuff and I learn it in the process. Let's do this. Check that in just a second. See some of it in the menu above JSON on the docs hierarchy. So this one currently provides two types of endpoints. Okay, so JSON RPC exposes layer 1 information, while gRPC support layer 2 as well as streaming of events. Okay, there you go. Remaining endpoints will be migrated to gRPC in future release. Interesting. So these are the layer 1 endpoints, like so. And then these are the core gRPC services. Hello, hello. How is it going? So then these are happening here. So you'll need to use the DAPI client or DAPI gRPC, JavaScript DAPI request. Interesting. So I guess then my question is, what's the difference between JavaScript DAPI client and DAPI gRPC? Is this related to the JSON RPC? And does that mean this will be deprecated too? Or is this good? Because if so, then this is what I should be using right now, if this is what's not going to be deprecated. Let me try doing this one, see what happens. So this is get block by height. You only need Dash SDK. Okay. So I guess we just need more examples with the Dash SDK, because I want just something like this, the Dash intent package. Yeah. So I want a reference of all of the methods in the Dash SDK, Dash JavaScript SDK. So that was one that was here. So let's see what's going on here. So we got these guys. Yeah, so this is all the other stuff. Okay, so I guess this is what's handling whether it's using the JSON RPC or the gRPC stuff. So there's a TypeScript typings in the platform. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I guess my question is this stuff somewhere in here? Let's see. Hmm. Okay, so I know that we end up creating a wallet. So let me just make sure I don't lose the thread here, though. These are all the examples that needed updating. And let's see, so I had that one. So what's going on here? So this was a list diff for the provided block hashes. Got it. So the curl request, this was the curl request itself. And we're specifying the base block hash and then the block hash we want to diff against. And then it's giving us the list here of transaction hash, confirmed hash, pub key operator, voting address. Okay. Cool. Interesting. And then we needed, okay, so I guess then my question is, if this is going to be deprecated, does it matter whether I update the examples or not? Like, deprecated in the next month, year, 10 years? Like, yeah, I don't know. But it sounds like we want to just stick to the Dash client here. So let's get into how those are going to work. So let's do this. What I like to do is create just initialize a single client and then export it and then import it, because with this example here, we're seeing the whole thing in one file, which is nice. That's kind of what I would expect anyway. But I mean, I want to have different files with different examples showing different SDK methods. And then you can avoid having to initialize a client each time for each script. So here, and then grab this stuff. Boom. There's a couple things happening here that I want some notes on. So this is just from the comments. So setting mnemonic to null indicates you want a new wallet to be generated. And then setting offline mode to true indicates you don't want to sync the chain. Okay. And then we're going to have a wallet method. This is basically this example here. And this is going to do a couple things. As we have get wallet account, export wallet, and get unused address. So let me see if I can find the TypeScript typings. So Okay, so this is all the stuff that we had when I was just in here. Scripts. Dash Platform is currently available on the Dash testnet only. How long is that going to be the case? Because eventually you want to be able to work with mainnet, or else you're not really working with real money. Oh, this is using Wasm. Look at that. Okay. Back to the package. Might have been in there somewhere. Tests. Probably be easier if I just clone this down, but for now, I'm just gonna keep popping a bit just to see what's in here. Interesting. Okay. So this would be like get contract. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so if there's not currently just a reference of all of the JavaScript methods in the Dash SDK, that's the thing you really want. And that there should be a page for somewhere. Otherwise, you kind of just have to go find examples and see what's available and then start pulling examples and make them work for your use case. So it's more extensive documentation here. Look at this. A different separate page entirely with important documentation on it. Great. Okay. So this is probably where I should have started with, honestly. No syntax highlighting, so that is not super tight. That's why I actually move this thing to a DocuSource site for you. Be quite a bit nicer. Okay, yeah, this is, wow, this is exactly where I should have been from the start. This has basically all the stuff I want. There's even a wallet library. So that'd be a question, should I use the wallet library or not? Is the wallet library important? And what is Dash EVO? So now this is a whole nother place now. I see a big deprecated word somewhere. Let's see, update repo. Have been archived as active development, shifted to here. Okay. So does that just mean that things like, where was I? So is there still a wallet library, but in Dash Pay? Yeah, right. So does that mean everything got moved from that repository to the other, or did they just start building new stuff in Dash Pay? So this is deprecated, it looks like. Oh, moved. Okay, here we go. Great, 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 great. So you're still npm installing it from here, though. So does that mean this So let me look at, I want to do just dash. Okay, hold on. Where was the npm library? So let's do this. See what we get. Yes, you just want the npm. So what is the name of the new npm location if dash, or is the idea that dash evo stays on npm, but the GitHub migrated off of it? I don't know. Oh. Okay, I'm just gonna keep following the examples then and not worry about it too much. So let's go back to here. So this now, we're gonna have a lot more code examples, it looks like. SDK contains wallet. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. Thank you for being here and explaining things to me. I am a Dash noob still, and so I'm just kind of playing around figuring out how all this stuff works. A whole lot of stuff in here. So let's take a look. I think just creating a wallet would be the thing to do. Let's see. Actually, let's just go through the top, see what we hit. Here's the quick start. See example usage here. Oh, dead link. So that's because we're here. I think we're JS client. I want to end up here, and I want to get to examples web. Yep. And then web usage. Boom. Okay, so that link should be this link. Yep. Does this have a button to open a PR? Nope. But I want to go all packages failing. Cool. Okay, well, it looks like this is where I would open the PR. Note packages JS client. Boom. So quick happy client. Yes. Here. And that's the one that's off. Yep. This example here, they're showing you it's just a single HTML page. That's kind of funny. I'll see if this works. I do like examples like this though, because you don't have to worry about all the build step stuff. You just throw in a script tag and hopefully it works. So let's do that. And there's no body. Just gonna console log some stuff. And we can run this with live server. Just reset my VS Code so all my extensions are not on right now. Go live. Then there should be this. Okay. Refuse to execute script because its MIME type is not executable and strict MIME type checking is enabled. I think that might be because not yet. Not defined. This is not defined, so I'm not importing it. Yeah, I just want to see this because the reason why I want to check is because the example is linked to this from the docs. So you want to either make sure it works or, yeah, exactly. So if it doesn't work on a package, then it shouldn't be in the docs as an example here. So this should just be removed then if that's the case. Anyway, okay, so I probably shouldn't mess around with that then. I'll leave that here just for now. Okay, so if we go back here, this is going to initialize the client. So that was what I had. I had a file right here. Okay. So it looks like, right, yeah, because this is the Dappy client examples. Still a little bit confused about what's the difference between the Dappy client and not. And I'm not sure if I should be saying that Dappy or it's pronounced some other way. Into the SDK methods for interacting with all that stuff. Also provides direct access to the client methods. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so this was one of the examples I was getting to. And that's the thing, is that the requires are different. So that's probably updated to just do this, I assume. Let's try this. So first off, I never checked whether this worked or not. Dash darks or dark forest right now. So no reason how we go through this. Yeah, great. Well, I'm glad that this is useful then, because I do enjoy doing this. But it can be like frustrating for people who want to see something actually get built. It's just like seems like endless bike shedding. But mostly I just need to basically go through all the examples and then just try and run them, see whether they work or not, and then figure out which ones are broken, which ones aren't, which ones maybe work but are using things that are kind of deprecated and shouldn't be. And then you can kind of get them all into a nice place. The thing is, though, is I feel like this whole site shouldn't really exist. This should all be contained within the Dash platform.readme.io. You should get as many things you possibly can into this one, especially if you're coming to it from dash.org, because it just doesn't really make sense to have people hop off to this other one with no syntax highlighting and stuff's like super deprecated, and then you're gonna have to like kind of keep this up to date with the other stuff. So I would really recommend just getting rid of this entirely and moving everything you can into here. So let's see. So I want to actually try these examples in here. So let's just start with this one. And I'm actually not going to mess around with. And actually, you need that semicolon there. Let's see if this works. So this will be get best block hash with client. So it might be that, or it might be this, or it might be that. Let's see, where's the other one? Dash import dash. Okay, so it's gonna be one of these four. Okay, maybe what's gonna work. So let's start with, because I'm curious. It'll probably be, or maybe it would actually be that. It's all just in this one dash npm. So options here. So let's start with this one. Cache tappy. I gotta create that one. See what happens. I haven't installed that. So before I start npm installing stuff, okay. Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense. So I think I might need to just install this unless something about it. Okay, so this is what I need to do. I need to do the dash.client. And then I can do these things, I think. So this says get client, whereas this is .core best block hash. Essentially, provides here for Dash network layers, classic Dash, blockchain, and platform. Interesting. Okay. Just talking with Davios. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And so what I'm getting at is now, so the Dappy client stuff is in just this one Dash package, but these examples are still using the old one and are initializing the client this way. SDK is using Dappy client as well. Okay. So then let's just do this. Intermediate value is not a function. Yeah, so I'm guessing this may be because this is the deprecated one. Okay. So let's try this. This is going to be get best block hash. And let me just grab this whole thing. Let's just do this one. Let's see if that works. Okay, that's promising. Yeah, this is the type of thing I was having issues with last time. There's some TLS stuff, but it looks like it still did it for us. Okay, cool. So we're getting the core status. Core status is here. Okay. This is core get status. And this, okay, so first it console logs this. That's what's happening here. So that's what this is. That's get best block hash. Okay, I see. Okay, so actually let's okay. So what's in the status information? We're looking at the chain. We've got the master node and then the network. Okay, I'm not as interested in that. I think I want to just return the best block hash. So kind of just do this. Twice. Okay, cool. That's a little simpler. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this. So I have a meeting in 20 minutes. So I'm going to want to hop off probably in 10. So I'll have some time. Ready. Just return res. See if this one works. Awesome. Okay. That's very clean. change that though to hash. Okay. Cool. So yeah, so really importing Dash from Dash with ESM and then initializing the client like this, then gives you access to the client methods here. So this is what you want. So all of this is all wrong. And this, if that's kind of the case throughout these examples, then it might make sense to just start rewriting these and bringing them in here kind of one by one. I could see why it might take a little while. There's not really examples for these ones though. Okay, this is, so this stuff. Okay, so the DAPI client, I think you need to get rid of DAPI client here and then just have this SDK be the thing. This is what you want. Here, I think dashpay.gam.io is supposed to be dead. Confirm with our docs kind of Discord. Yeah, okay, cool. Great. Looks like there's a lot of information in here though that is not anywhere else in that, like information in docs form. Just things like showing you a lot of this stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the challenge. Is there a reference for that somewhere around here? Yeah, it doesn't look. Yeah, it's just like everything is just all mixed up into everything, so it's really hard to tell what's what. Okay, well, let me separate out these two other ones. So I want to have scripts just for each of these standalone ones using the DAPI client then. So this should be get best block hash. Still working great. So that all goes away. Okay, and it's not that. It's with kind of, yeah, okay. Great. So what I want to do is I want to break this off into the client. Okay, let's move this up. And then I wanted the other examples here. So get block by height. Happy client. Okay. Cool. And then I can just grab all of this here now and change this. Change. Okay. Let's see if that works. Except I probably haven't created it yet. Great. That's one of the things that always challenges me with doing this is I'll write something in a README and then run a command like I just wrote it in an actual file because I'm silly like that. Oh, something's happening. Interesting. So it's giving me a buffer. Best block hash, buffer, a whole bunch more bytes. Don't think is that what I wanted? Huh. Not sure if that's coming in some format that I need to transform, but let's just try this one and see what happens. This one, right? Okay, that one works. Cool. So that's just get block hash 2-string. Cool, thank you. I need to hop off, so that'll be my homework next time. Cool. Oh, duh. Whoops. Okay. Cool. And then JSON.stringify it. All right, we're getting somewhere, but I need to hop off. Cool. Well, thank you. Not sure what your name is, P. Shenmik, but thank you so much for hanging out and for super useful help. Also, let me stop screen sharing. And yeah, so I think I'll be doing this around this time every week. And once I get through kind of checking out all the docs examples and orienting myself of where things are, then we'll start building things with actual like React front ends and stuff like that. But as you can see, there are a lot of things I was confused about in terms I didn't know, and things that could probably be smoothed out if you have like kind of one getting started tutorial that very clearly walks you through these are the things you need, these are the things you should import and stuff like that. So that's probably what I'll end up creating before I get into the React stuff. But I'll probably be able to do most of that on the next stream. And Ryan will chat. I'll chat with you after this and just kind of see what you thought and how it went and all that. So yeah, I will catch you guys next week.